The 2023 NFL Draft is setting up perfectly for the Chicago Bears. All right, perfectly. And let me tell you why. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports all back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, please do hit that big red subscribe button down below. Please make sure you're following me on all my social media platforms. And guys, hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so I wanted to come on and talk about the fact that the draft, as it's approaching, right, is honestly, it's setting up perfectly for the Bears, like I talked about at the top of the video. All right. And the reason why is because of the positions of need that the Bears have is exactly what this draft offers. All right. What do I mean by that? The Bears have 3 positions of need that are at the top of the list. All right. In no particular order, I would say edge rusher, D-line, offensive tackle, right, or O-line. That's kind of what you would say, probably center after that. But again, O-line, D-line, right, are the 2 main groups of positions. And then you need pass rushers, edge rushers. Well, I'm knee-deep right now in draft research. But taking a look at, this draft, Bleacher Report actually came out and said that this draft is deepest in those positions. All right, so let me tell you guys here. So according to Bleacher Report, the number 1 deepest position in this draft class is edge rusher. There are more edge rushers that made their top 150 than any other positions. All right, I think 22 of the top 150 are edge rushers. And that is fantastic because the Bears have 10 draft picks, right? And you know you want to use a handful of them on pass rushers. We barely have any kind of impactful pass rushers on this roster at this point right now. Like, you need these guys. All right, so that makes me feel really good. And then the second most after that is actually defensive line, right? We're talking defensive tackle, we're talking defensive end, and that's the second most out of their top 150. Now, it did take a big hit when Jalen Carter, the top prospect, or him with Will Anderson, but Jalen Carter came out with all these, off the field issues, and he dropped on a lot of people's board. And so you really have your top guy in Will Anderson, but for the most part, you still have a pretty deep D-line. All right. And then third is actually receiver, which we don't need anymore, but at one point we did. Some Bears fans still want to say JSN, Jackson Smith, and the Jigba, but I digress. Number 4 right after receiver is offensive tackle. Not just offensive line. They say offensive tackle. And we need a right tackle in the worst ways, right? Larry Borum, you don't want to go into next year with him as your starting right tackle. 13 out of their top 150 was offensive tackle ranked. So this makes me feel so good about the draft because I was, feeling like after free agency, yeah, man, we definitely improved. Linebackers got better. We have receivers now, and we filled up all the ancillary positions like backup tight end, backup quarterback, but we're still so weak in the trenches, right? Where it actually matters, we're pretty weak. I'm sorry to say, but we are. You only added Nate Davis, who's solid, but you added 1 capable offensive lineman. And then on the other side, you added DeMarcus Walker, who's okay, he's a rotational piece. Andrew Billings, again, okay, a rotational piece. Like, you did not add any bona fide starters, impact players, all right? And so the draft is really what you're depending on. Well, now I feel much better about us depending on the draft because there's so many good prospects out there. I mean, Ryan Poles has 10 picks, folks. He could literally draft a defensive line. He could literally draft an entire defensive line. He could draft an entire offensive line. So I just wanted to tell you guys that I feel really good now going into the draft, knowing that we're so deep at this position. Now, that's not to say all 10 of our picks will be D-line, O-line, edge rusher, D-line, and O-line, but there's a possibility that a lot of them will be. And I venture to say that is the case, right? I think in the first 3 rounds, I definitely think it'll be O-line, D-line, D-line. It'll probably be in that order. But you know what? Ryan Poles never been one to kind of go in the straightforward path. He sometimes goes against the grain. Remember last year we needed receiver help. And in the first round, he took BPA, best player available, which was in the secondary. He took Jaquan Brisker, he took Kyler Gordon. So you never know, man, but this position group is very deep. So if Ryan Poles does try to wait which he's shown in the past before, he can in this draft because it's so deep. Remember, Braxton Jones, 5th round rookie that we got last year, who's a starter for us. So Poles still has an eye to find talent late in the rounds. I'm not going to freak out as much if we don't go what we need, in the first couple rounds, because of the fact that I know now that this is a very deep draft in those positions. Again, number 1, most deepest position, edge rusher. Number 2 is D-line, and number 4 is offensive tackle. 3 is receiver. So let me know what you guys think. Does this make you feel better about the draft? It certainly does for me. Leave a comment down below as always. Thanks for watching.